as parents of children with special needs, our emotional and actual and physical dependence on doctors has always been high. So it's always reassuring for us to hear the words of doctors, to hear the reassurance from you makes a lot of difference to us. And so thank you for addressing us. And just to give a brief introduction, because Team Vedanta as well as CP, all of them are going to address you. All of them are going to make parts of the same presentation to you and explain different aspects of this project to you. So just to begin, the Together community is a residential living community that is based at Bangalore. It is a joint initiative by Together Foundation along with Vedanta Senior Living. And Together Foundation was founded in 2015 by both CP and me, along with professionals from the world of disabilities, including Dr. Ambekar. And the mission of the foundation, right when we began, was to look at creating opportunities or creating a pathway, rather, for people with autism to live happily even after the lifetime of their parents. There are two significant parts in the life of a person with autism, and for that matter, other significant special needs, which is with parents and without parents. We are also parents to two adult daughters with autism, and it is that parenting experience which propelled us to work in this field. And over the years, Together Foundation has established a sheltered workshop at at Mumbai. We are at Andheri East, and we offer a gamut of vocational training opportunities for adolescents and adults with autism and with other intellectual disabilities. And we reach out to different sections of society. We are funded by several organizations in our efforts to provide services. And along the way, as the sheltered workshop prospered and started doing well, we were motivated to go back to our founding mission, which was to create a pathway for life after the lifetime of parents. So that is how this entire project began. And this project gives an opportunity for our adults with autism and special needs to live independently, to grow independently with support as and when they require. And in the extended campus, it also gives opportunities and pathway for parents to live and to watch their children growing up. So it does not cut the link completely. We are able to continue to be a part of their lives. And also, it is very important for parents to be a part of this community, because this is the only structure that is going to work as far as continuity is concerned. When we look at sustaining such a model, when we look at creating the model, empowering the model, and the third step is sustaining the model. So in sustaining the model, it is parents who will play a large role. So we have Together Foundation, which specializes in providing services, which is going to continue to provide services to the adults with special needs at the community. And we have Vedanta Senior Living. And you may ask, who is Vedanta? So Vedanta is more than just the official partner for this project. You will see the Vedanta logo everywhere. You will see that line, a joint partnership between Together Foundation and Vedanta Senior Living. So it is much more than just those words that you see there. Because many years ago, I would say that our efforts to create this community started several years ago. And we kept coming up against obstacles, both CP and I. And finally, we started looking at a space in Bangalore, which was around 2 to 2.5 years ago. And that is how we came across Vedanta Senior Living. And we gave them a call and we talked to them. And we told them our dream. We explained our dream to them. And the entire team at Vedanta sat and heard us out patiently and listen to the dream of these two parents who wanted to do something for their children and for others. From that day, there was no looking back. So they agreed to hold our hands and help us bring this project to life. So they have come with us every inch of the way, and they have experienced and shared the struggle with us of finding that piece of land which is going to bring all our hopes and dreams to life. So again and again we faced disappointment. Again and again we would come to a point where everything would look perfect and things would just collapse because something would be wrong, something would not be legally possible, and we would have to start all over again. Through that journey, it is Vedanta who has held our hands and who helped us believe and who helped us to keep the hope. So the journey with Vedanta is much more than just the partnership that you and I see today. They have traveled this path with us, and they are committed to continuing on this path with us because they know how much this means to us. Secondly, they are specialists in senior care living. So there are a lot of services which are common between what senior citizens require and between what our special adults require. So it's a beautiful partnership. I'll tell you why. Because it leaves us parents free to concentrate on providing those core services to people with disabilities. So Vedanta is going to take care of providing the security, the housekeeping, the cafeteria, the maintenance of the community. All that is going to be with Vedanta, who already know what it is to do because they have been doing this for several years now. So what happens is, Together Foundation and the governing body of parents of the Together community will be able to concentrate and put all their energies into looking after our adults with disabilities. We will not have to worry about all these other things because this itself is going to be a full plate for us to carry. Because let's face it, as parents, this is our biggest anxiety is, how are our children going to transition to a place like this? How are they going to live there happily? And you and I, all of us have our individual doubts for our children. My child does not eat this. My child can sleep only next to me. My child needs the light on all the time. He is afraid of the dark. There will be a variety of things that you and I feel is special only about my child and our children. So we will be free to concentrate on them and to help them to transition to independent living. So as I said, you have Together Foundation, you have Vedanta Senior Living, and third is you have the parents, which is the equal sharing responsibility of parents in governing this structure, which is why the model is created that every parent who joins this community for their child will also live in this community. Because parents are going to be a big part of the day-to-day management of this community and in terms of being part of committees. So there will be professionals who will be looking after the intricacies of running the community. But it is parents who are going to provide the nurturing, who are going to provide the anchoring. When one set of parents move on, there will always be another set of parents ready to move into their space, ready to give the emotional support that our adults will need always. So when we are not around, there will be other parents for our children. So that is how this entire project has been conceptualized, and which is why when all the parents who are going to be a part of this community, all of us are going to take a very solemn and a very serious commitment we are going to make to all our children, not only to my child. I'm going to be making a commitment to every child, to every special adult who's going to be a part of this community, that yes, I am there for you. Yes, I am there to watch out for you. Similarly, you as a parent are going to say the same thing, that yes, we are here for you. When your parent is not here, when your mother is not there, don't worry, I am there. So there is this beautiful bond and this beautiful promise that is going to seal all of us and create this indelible commitment between us towards the adults who are going to live in this community. So this is what it is all about. This is an introduction to what we are and who we are and the values that we espouse. And I would like to invite Shreya Padmanabhan, Ananta Padmanabhan, to join me now. And she will make a brief presentation to you about Vedanta Senior Living and tell you about them.
Good afternoon, everybody. So, as Sangeeta had just said, it has been a journey for Vedanta as well to work with Together Foundation over the last last year and a half. We have learned as much about the foundation, about the adults with autism, about the journeys over the last 1.5 years, which we we're very fortunate to have had that experience. Vedanta was started in the year 2015 by a management team with a lot of experience working in senior living before this. The main core values of Vedanta are transparency, customer centricity, and empathy. And we wanted to translate these values into our communities, into senior living. With these values and the grace of God, today we have about 9 communities across 5 cities. That is Chennai, Coimbatore, Bengaluru, Hosur, and Cochin. We have about 350 units which are currently operational. That is 5 communities are right now operational in the sense that these people are living there and the services are ongoing. We have 4 units which would start operation in the next 1 year or so. And we have 2-3 in the pipeline which would be in the next few years. So Vedanta has grown over the last few years to a large organization. And this is our first step into working with adults with autism. In the Together community, like how it was explained, Vedanta's role would be to manage the services. There will be 2 aspects. One is for the adults with autism and for the parents. The services which we would manage will include the cafeteria, the food and beverages, the dining, housekeeping for the individual units, the overall facility management and maintenance, the primary medical support that is required, security, and most important of all is caregiving. One of the very important services which we also provide in our senior living, which would also be helpful in our special adults project, would be the caregivers. Vedanta has a very robust system of caregivers. We source them from various places and we train them for senior living. So these caregivers would be trained with Together Foundation to take care of our special adults and be deployed into the community. So this ensures that there's always a constant support of caregiving. There's a constant team which is always available. The manpower and resources required are always available. This would be a very critical role which Vedanta would play with the community in the long run. So this is a brief history about Vedanta and our role which we would be playing in the Together community. I would move on to Mr. Chakrapani, sir, for explaining about the project.
Good evening, all the participants, and once again, a very warm welcome to this webinar. As Sangeeta was mentioning, when we was toying with the idea of setting up a group home, once we narrowed down that it is going to be in Bangalore, we started scouting for land parcels where we want to accommodate and start this community. So we also had our own share of ups and downs in finding the right place. Sometimes we would find the right place, but it has got a legal problem. Sometimes the price would not match. Sometimes the land parcel would be less than what is required. But I think it has been a divine thing that we could locate this land parcel where we are going to house this beautiful community. The location itself is so beautiful, scenic. The picture which is being shown on the PPT is a real picture taken on the photograph. It is the Chennagiri Hills, which is very close to the Nandi Hill. Nandi Hill itself is 10 kilometers from this place. People who are in Bangalore will know the Nandi Hills is a very, very most sought after picnic spot. It's surrounded by hills. This entire location is surrounded by small, small hillocks and very, very beautiful. Lot of greenery. What we also look when we started looking at the location is something where it can't be in the hustle bustle of a city, because the special adults require a lot of space, a lot of greenery, a lot of good air to breathe. And we thought it should be somewhere not in the center of the city, but at the same time should be accessible to the basic facilities like the health facility, the medical facility. The current location is a very strategically located, which is 45-minute drive from the Bengaluru International Airport. I'm sure for people who are in Bangalore, 45 minutes from a resident to Bangalore Airport is nothing. Second thing, as I mentioned, the real photograph which is there is a scenic, very, very scenic and very beautiful place. And what is very important is it is also in the close proximity of healthcare. We have a Sri Satyasai Sarla hospital. There is a 400-bedded hospital which is going to come up from Satyasai hospital is going to come up. We have a 2,000 student campus, which is Vishveshwaraya the Institute of Technology. We also we are just 8-10 kilometers away from the Chikaballapur main thing. It is also very closely located, a 20-minute drive from the Prestige Golchar, which is one of the prominent gated community. In all these things is a combination of both the advantages that it has got access to the airport, the city, the access to the medical care, access to the habitation. It is also at the same time kept the scenic natural surrounding in view. I think it's a win-win combination we could find out. What is more important about this project is, as parents or special adults, we always feel that we create a very, very exclusive community where we are not going to have any other to be neighbors. But in this case, the project of 7 acres, which is acquired by Together Foundation and Vedanta Senior Living, is the greater part of a 35-acre gated community, which is being developed by Landmark STR for an independent villa. So the beauty is that we will have exclusive facilities, which we will talk about in the next few slides, which is exclusive to the special adults and parents of special adults. But we will also have neighbors of senior living. We will also have access to the facility of the Landmark STR community, be it a clubhouse, be it a swimming pool, be it a gymnasium, or the roads, or the jogging track. So it's a very, very win-win situation we are in. That's very, very strategic, because this is the art of the project, where we say what is the location, how is it located, what are the strategic advantage of being there, being a part of a larger community, yet we have our own exclusivity. These are something many of us would be thinking about it. We don't want to be in an isolated location where we have only special adults and caregivers. So I think this is a beautiful place. I am sure people who are interested, want to see the place, the Vedanta will arrange a site visit. I think I would request Rahul Sabarwal to take us through the next few slides, giving more detail about the project. And thank you.
Thank you, CP. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Rahul from Vedanta Senior Living. Like CP explained, this project is, a part of a larger 35-acre community. This community is already in existence. The first 10 acres in this community are already have been completed. Most of the infrastructure work has been completed, and they have started the sales. So by the time our community starts coming up, we will have neighbors already living in this community. This is a DTCP approved project, which ensures that we have adequate green spaces. There are wide roads in the community. Out of the 35 acres, if you see, we have taken about 7 acres. We have 38 villas for the parents and 47 studio apartments, which also ensures that there is adequate additional capacity built in the studio apartments for our special adults. This community will have on one side equal sized community of Vedanta senior living for senior citizens, and the community will have all the amenities in terms of underground electrical connections, water lines coming into the houses, recycled water for gardening, etc. All of that will be available for the villas as well as our studio apartments. Most of all, as we said, when we were scouting for land, one of the things that we realized was, how do we ensure this is part of a larger ecosystem? So we get the benefit of a full 35-acre community and access to all the amenities, the recreation facilities, which are being built by Landmark STR in the community. We'll move to the next slide, Shreya. So this is where our special adults will be living. These are 47 studio apartments. It's a G+3 building structure. Each floor will be 12 independent dwelling units. Ground floor will be for women. First floor, second floor, and third floor will be for men. The idea when we were looking at designing this was to provide individual private home, but build it into a community, making sure there was interaction between outdoor spaces and indoor spaces. So each unit comes, attached with a balcony, so the children can spend some time outside, and then the young adults can spend some time outside and then come back to their room. There is a full support system built in, in the sense of the caregivers are going to be living close by. The resident director, the medical senior medical professionals will live in the same block as in the studio apartment, and with access in case of any emergency, will have the access to be able to walk into each of the floors and resolve a situation outside of the caregivers and the support staff that we will have at any point of time. This will also be additional feature that is being provided. The idea was to provide enough security, safety, and a sense of belonging for the special adult. Each of the units are designed with a provision for individual caregiver in the unit. The units will be fully furnished and will give a comfortable life to our special adults. We'll move to the next one. So this is a typical left side. What you see is a typical floor plan of the studio block. We, while designing, made sure that there were no blind spots. So if you see right in the center of this is a nursing station or a group caregiver station. At any point of time, we will have 2 group caregivers on each floor, and they will have the ability to be able to manage the entire floor. The access to the floor will be access controlled, and at that point of time, to ensure safety and security of our special children, there will be no blind spots on the whole floor. So we will have the ability, or the caregivers will have the ability to be able to manage and see the entire floor in terms of who's going into what room, what are they doing. We also have, as part of the design, a window which opens next to the door, which gives us 2 benefits. It gives us the ability to be able to monitor what is happening inside, and in case of emergency, be able to move inside the unit in case of any emergency that may come back. In couple of areas, if required, we will put a 2-way mirror to make sure that enough visibility is provided. The ground floor of the studio apartment block will be the primary health center for both the parents as well as the special adults. Each floor, like I said, will come with a group caregiver station, a breakout area, so that children, when they come back, young adults, when they come back from the activity at the skill center, they have the ability in the evening to be able to gather together and spend some time. They will have televisions in their own room. We may also look at televisions outside, or some carom board or other activities outside, so they are able to engage with themselves. And there is also a small pantry on each floor. So any food that needs to be heated up and all those things can get taken care of. Within the studio apartment, like I said, there is enough space which has been provided to make sure that the individual caregiver can be accommodated. And so when we looked at the design, we looked at enough space that at any point of time, if we needed to ensure that an individual caregiver comes into the room, we have the ability to accommodate that comfortably. The individual caregiver will get a wardrobe and a bed. The young adult will have his own or her own, bed and wardrobe with access to a balcony. So like I said before, the idea was how do we integrate the outdoors and the indoors. The balcony outside is to give them fresh air, to give them light, to give them a sense of walking out and seeing the world go by. And we are ensuring enough safety in terms of whatever needs to be done, so that from a safety standpoint, that there is never a compromise. It's not going to be open balcony, there will be grilled balcony to ensure that. And there'll be enough storage provided in each of the units as we see, because this is a lifetime home for our special adult. So there has to be enough space, and there'll be a small study table and a kind of a pin-up map, and all those things will be in the room, in a fully furnished room. The bathrooms that we have designed are larger than what you would normally see in a regular housing unit. The idea is that each of them are disabled-friendly bathrooms with wheelchair access doors. So the clear height is 3 feet, so the wheelchairs can go in case of a need. Anti-skid rails, grab bars, all designing of the bathroom will be done in such a way, and the placement of WC and the shower area will be in such a way that it gives enough accessibility at any point of time as our young adults grow. Move to the next slide. This is our skill center. The skill center is again a G+3 structure. The top floor is half a floor only. This again, the thought was, how do we make sure the dining space is a partially open dining space with about units out with the tables outside and inside. This again gives us the proximity to the nature because there is a small garden outside. How do people interact? And while eating, you can enjoy the Bangalore weather. Children can enjoy, young adults can enjoy moving in and out. The skill center that we're building is a 4,300 square feet skill center, which is going to be a flexible space. So there is space available for working for the children. There is space available for a small IT center. There is an open area which has been provided on the first floor, so that when there is a breakout area. So as young adults, they are coming in, working through the day. If they need to take a break, they don't need to go down. They can actually be on the same floor itself, take a small break, and then come back. There is a 1,000 square feet kitchen on the ground floor, which is on the ground floor of the skill center and amenities center. This kitchen will not only provide food for the young adults, it will provide food for the staff as well as the parents who are staying in the villas. And given that the nature of this community is going to be a lot of caregivers and support staff, we have provided a separate staff cafeteria to ensure that there is enough space for them to break out, because they will have long shifts. How do they ensure that they get their time off and they're able to take a small break, in rotation? And there is space provided on the ground floor for a separate staff cafeteria. There. So, like I said, 4,300 square feet of skill center. We will have ample space for the programs which are being run through the Together Foundation. There will be IT center, packaging center, so on and so forth. About 40 plus dorm rooms are being built on the second floor of this building. The dormitory will be able to accommodate our caregivers. We have a different floor or different area built for women caregivers and different area built for male caregivers. The terrace and the multi-purpose hall on the top of the floor, top of the building, is a 70-seater plus seater. So there is enough space for community gathering, for functions, for other things that can be done periodically, and as well as the terrace. And this looks towards the hill. When it comes out, it will actually face the hills, what CP suggested. So the view that you see from in the first picture is almost the view that you will see from the terrace of this building. So that's how we have planned this. Given that this is going to be a community where parents will be living along with the children, we have kept in mind when designing for the villas of the parents, this takes care, ensuring the convenience, the comfort and the safety of the parents. All villas today that have been designed are 2-bedroom ground floor structure only. Adequate setbacks have been provided in each of the villa types to ensure that you can walk around the house, so they're not joined to each other, and there is enough space provided around. There are two land sizes. There is a land size of 1200 square feet with a built up of about 850 square feet. There is this is without a car park. There is a 1500 square feet land parcel with about 1050 built up area. This is with and without a car park. So we have both the options. We've designed it in such a way that anybody who may choose the car park may choose it for, the parent has an option to choose a house with a car park or without a car park. All of this will also have accessibility to the terrace. So the parents will be able to go to the terrace and enjoy the views from there. They cannot do a build out there, but they can enjoy the the space on the terrace. The units have been designed to ensure keeping in mind senior living. So they are all senior friendly. As parents who come into the community will age, they will have the villas that they will be living in will also be commensurating with their aging process, so as to say, and will be very convenient for them to live. They will have ramps, disabled friendly washrooms, like I suggested in the parents in the young adults area, anti-skid flooring, grab bars, etc. So all of that will be provided in the parents' villas as well. CP, over to you for talking about the next few slides.
Thank you. I think many of the points you've covered, as Rahul was mentioning, it's going to be a furnished studio apartment with adequate space provision for an individual caregiver. What we have anticipated is certain special adults may require one-on-one caregiver and certain special adults may not require, but the provision for space has been made. The special adult who doesn't require one-on-one caregiver, they can seek help from the group caregiver who will be having in the same floor. As Rahul was mentioning, we will have 2 group caregiver per shift, so they are available 24/7. But special adults who may require one-on-one caregiver, their space has been provided within the studio apartment itself. I think the skill center is an important part of the life of a special adult. The idea is the Together Foundation has been running a sheltered workshop in Bombay. We have a lot of experience in providing the vocational as well as a skill. But very important is we will also be cognizant of the fact that the location of this community, what is the need of the surrounding people. So whenever we're going to develop certain skill or vocational, we will think about what will be the adaptability of acceptance of the products and the services that the special adult is going to make. So we will evaluate and back, but the provision has been made for a meaningful engagement of the special adult throughout the day, part of the day. We also said in the skill center, we have created a separate IT room, because we are running a particular vocational activity in the Together Foundation in Bombay, creating a data entry options for a financial institution. The idea is that today with work from home, work from anywhere, data entry can be done from this place also. So we've created a separate annex room exclusively for data entry. Cafeteria, we have created a very big space for cafeteria, which will support all the needs of the special adult, the parents of the special adult, the caregiver, which we have designed in a manner that we will have adequate sitting capacity and also create an outdoor sitting capacity. The cafeteria, of course, will be managed by Vedanta, providing all three vegetarian meals, be it breakfast, lunch, and dinner. As Rahul was alluding to, on the skill center building, the top floor is a semi-covered area and semi-open to sky, which will be used for community hall for gathering and event. The idea is every weekend or every fortnight, we have a get-together, we have a musical evening, we have a simple parent and special adult thing, we have a dinner together, we will have certain games, certain movie shows, so that we have certain thing. It's not a very serious all through thing, but also have certain thing. As Rahul has already explained, that we have the studio apartment, the ground floor is exclusively demarked for the female adult, and first and second and third is for the male adult. So we have group caregiver in every floor. Over and above that, we also have, as a part of this entire package, is we got a garden area, which we're going to develop for sensory walk tracking. We're going to put open gym. We're going to create walking and cycling track, swimming and other amenities. We are having access to the landmark STR. So the special adults, we will have an access to the swimming pool of the landmark STR. The housekeeping for studio apartment, villa and common area will be provided by Vedanta Senior Living. As mentioned, on a day-to-day basis, community will be run by a special professional. We will have a resident director who will manage all the things. But most important is the parents' involvement, parents' commitment to this, because that will only ensure continuity, maintaining quality of stay. That will only ensure lifelong support to the special adult. So these are some of the highlights of the amenities which the special adults can look forward to from this community. It's been very carefully thought out. Many of the parents do have a question, saying that what will be a day in a life of a special adult look like? I think who can be a better person other than Sangeeta to answer this. So I request Sangeeta to just take us through this.
So the idea is that we give our adults a nice structured day where they know what to expect and that there are no unnecessary surprises that we impose on them. On the other hand, we also ensure that they have some time to themselves. So we just have to kind of close our eyes. It's difficult for us because we have our children living with us all the time. We know when they come, when they go, we know exactly what they are doing. But when they move on into independent living, it's tough for us to imagine a life where our children are not with us all the time. But it will take some getting used to. So one can just imagine for a moment that our son or daughter wakes up in the morning and he or she, either with an independent caregiver or otherwise, spends the first part of the morning getting ready, getting cleaned up, having a bath, and if they want to have a quick cup of tea, they have a pantry on the same floor and get ready for the day. And once they do that, they report to the workplace. And of course, there will be some among our adults who are on medication, who are unable to wake up early, and for reasons of different kinds, may not be in a position to report to the workplace, but instead will go for some nature walk, who will go for physical movement, who will go for some running and things like that. Not that the other adults will not get exercise, but some of it will be need-based. There will have to be some amount of tailoring according to the needs of our adults. So there will be one group which will get up, finish off their personal grooming, and they will go to the cafeteria, of course, where they will meet us, the parents. I'm sure all of us will gather there to get a chance to interact with our children and to have our breakfast and morning tea with them. And after that, they report to the workplace, and those among them who may go for a walk or who may go for some physical exercise, may assist in gardening, may assist in, for example, doing some amount of housekeeping under, of course, the supervision of a group caregiver. So this is one part of it. So there is a structured part to the day where they have their breakfast and they report to work, or they have their breakfast and they go for some other planned activity. And of course, there will be some among them who will still be sleeping, because they may be on medication, may not be able to get up at that time. So we will have to structure their day separately. But since they will have their own individual caregiver, that will get taken care of. So after that, there is lunchtime. After lunchtime, there may be a small break. These are all things that all of us parents will decide together, after which they go back to work. End of the day is we want to have them having at least around 5 hours of work, which gives a good shape and structure to the day. And of course, there will be a good component of time that is spent in nature. There are some beautiful gardens which the community has been equipped with. So they will go for a good walk, they'll go for some running, they'll go for cycling. There is swimming at the landmark Estia extended campus. We have access to the swimming pool. Swimming, as all of us parents know, has extremely high therapeutic value for our children. And they should take advantage of that and swim. There will be some among our adults who may choose to swim every day. If that is the case, and that will also be provided for. And so that is going to be a very big part of the day, the physical exercise, either twice a day, ideally twice a day, or at least once a day for a good period of time. And there's going to be good amount of family time that is going to be provided for. How this happens is, of course, the cafeteria is shared by all of us. All of us are going to eat at the same place. The parents, the caregivers, the staff are adults. So all of us will meet there for our meals. And apart from that, you will have your adults. Our adults can come over to the villas and meet us. And we can go over to the studio apartments and meet them. Of course, this will have to have a structure. So we will not be able to make it a free-for-all, where we walk into the studio apartments at any time and where they come to the villa at any time, because this, in the long run, will not be fair to the adults. Because you and I can adjust to it any time. You and I can tomorrow adjust to a new reality and say that, okay, fine, chalo, bahut ho gaya. I want you to start living independently now. I want you to be on your own. So from now on, you will come and see me only on Sunday. That's not going to work for them. So we will have to keep their need for structure, their need for predictability will have to be kept in mind. So we will have to create a kind of a, let's say, a structure where they know that my studio apartment is my primary home. This is my own home. They will do one Graha Pravesh there. They will put up that little mala there. They're going to put a tika out there. They're going to put their stamp on their studio apartment and say, this is my house. That is going to happen. And it is very important for us parents to create enough ample family time and yet help our adults know that it is the studio apartment which is their primary home. This is going to be a journey of sorts for all of us. But having said that, they're going to have a beautifully structured day and enough time to themselves. Evenings will be spent in the community center or in the temple or for a walk or just spending time together. Everything doesn't have to necessarily be filled with activity. So just as you and I come back at the end of a long day and we just sit quietly and don't necessarily do something and don't have to answer for every moment of our day, that time will be there for our adults also to spend quiet time in the evening, do what they want to do, just generally relax. There will be dinner time. There will be time that they will spend every day learning how to make video calls and connecting with family members, which is going to be a very big part of their lives as they move into independent living. There is going to be a good amount of inputs that will come in from Together Foundation towards helping our adults prepare for independent living. So this is going to come in creating the structure. This is going to come in planning a good work life. This is going to come into training the caregivers. So as Shreya from Vedanta told you, Vedanta has a robust system for providing for caregivers, and it is Together Foundation which is going to spend time and help make the caregivers disability friendly in terms of the caregiving that they provide. This will be done on a continual basis. In fact, even at the center that we run at Mumbai, this is a part of the life we lead. All of us teachers at the center have constant refresher courses on security, on safety, on teaching programs. This is a part of our life, and that is going to continue to be done here at the community. So this is how our day is going to be. And of course, later on, I'm sure there are many questions that all of you have. Many have been put up in the chat box. So let's continue now, and Mr. Anand will talk to all of us about the structure, the formal structure and the legal structure and governance of this community. Mr. Anand, please.
Yeah, thank you, Sangeeta. Thank you for the excellent introduction to Vedanta Senior Living and our journey so far. I'm going to address the very important question of how are we legally structured this project. If you by this time you would have come to know that there are two distinct structures or buildings are going to be built in this community. Number one is the villas for the parents and the amenities to provide food and other basic needs, including training for the special adults. And the second one is the studio apartments for the special adults. So please visualize two distinct set of buildings. One is the villas and the other amenities required for services. And the second one is the studio complex where the special adults will live. The villas are built on individual plots, and it is a freehold property. All the parents who are buying a property in this community will be buying the land and then constructing a villa on that. It is like owning any other villa in any other part of the world. It's as simple as that. There is no complications. So this community will have 38 villas, and it will also have attached to the villas, you will have a common amenities which include a dining room, central kitchen, basic healthcare facility, and multi-purpose halls, and also the accommodation for the caregivers. So this is a basic integral part of the villas. So this building will be divided, the ownership of this building given to all the villa owners on an undivided share of land and building. This is also very common practice in most of the gated communities in India. This is very similar to that. So this is a very transparent way of doing things, and all the legal documents and are all done in the very similar way it is done elsewhere, and it's a very transparent process we have set up. How do we govern this community? Okay, this is a community. It's not only an independent set of villas, also it has some services to be provided, and so there is a service management company called Vedanta will be associated with that. So as a governance process, we are also going to form an association of all the villa owners, and it will have a governance structure where it will monitor the provision of services by Vedanta towards all the villa owners, which includes food and other basic needs. Okay, now let's go to the next slide. Then comes to the second set of buildings, which are studio apartments for special adults. So the studio apartments are housed in a single building, and we are planning to build around 47 villas, almost 47 studio apartments, 9 apartments, like more than the what is number of villas to accommodate the future need. This is to be owned by a trust. We are going to form a trust, which is going to be called the Together Community Welfare Trust, and this trust will own this building. So what is this trust? Who has got the members of the trust? All the villa owners will become part of the trust. Okay. Why this trust is for? Okay. Normally, why it can't be an association? Normally, an association structure comes with lot of government regulations which are difficult to change. Some of them are in favor of a community like us, some of them are not. So we would like to devise very clean, very policies which will suit our community. So a trust will provide such a flexibility of drafting bylaws which will be favoring the community operation. So this building will be owned by the Together Community Welfare Trust, and all the members will be all the resident owners will be the members of this trust, and the trust will be governed by a governance body or the trustees, which will consist of members from Together Community, Vedanta, and the parents. The exact numbers we are working out. So the combination of all the three stakeholders in this project will be the trustees of the project, and they will be responsible for managing the day-to-day affairs of the community and the studio apartments and the care and welfare of the special adults. So the underlying principle will be transparency and proper governance, and both Vedanta and Together Community will be extremely careful in maintaining this two underlying principles all through the functioning of this community. I know that you will have a lot of questions. These questions can be addressed in a separate question answer sessions. Now we can move on to the next chapter, which is financial aspects of this community. Can I call Rahul to talk about it?
Thank you, Anand.
Yeah.
So, like Anand mentioned, we have two structures or two different ways that this will be governed. One is the purchase of the villa. The second is the money that will be given by the parents in a trust corpus for the studio apartments. So what we are looking at, if we go to the next slide. Yeah. So this is a typical, for a typical standard 1200 square feet apartment. These are the way financials will look at. We will have land area, which is 1200 square feet. There is a built up area. The total cost comes to 95 lakh rupees, 95.5 lakh rupees. How this will be split is 69 lakh rupees will come towards the villa cost. Now, villa cost is not only villa cost. This includes the land. This includes the built up area of the villa. This includes the infrastructure. This includes the common area that you will get as part of the skill center and the amenity center, the furnishing of that area. All of that is part of the villa cost. So that is point number one. The second is the trust corpus of 26.5 lakh rupees. This will go towards the land, the building, and the setup of the studio apartment. And why we are doing this is, as Anand explained, it becomes, governance becomes far easier. It ensures perpetuity of the lifetime care for our young adults, and ensures that we are able to provide for all of that going by this structure. Now, how this villa payment will happen is that this will be a construction linked plan. So when you make the booking, at the time of the booking, 20% of the amount will be paid. On the signing of the agreement, the agreements will be as follows. There will be a land agreement, the agreement to purchase the land. There will be a construction agreement, and there will be a services agreement and a trust agreement. All these agreements, when you are signing, which will be typically between the second and the third month from your date of booking, is when you pay for the next percentage of payment comes in. After that, it is exactly linked to the construction progress of your individual villa. So as your individual villa keeps getting constructed, there will be milestone payments, and the payment will come into for this as per the milestones that are being built. Similarly, the trust corpus is not going to be paid at one shot. This trust corpus is also split into 3 different parts, which is at the time of execution of the agreement, at the time of the brickwork of the villa, and at the time of plastering of the villa. So it ensures that by the time we are ready, not only is your villa ready, but in fact what we would like to do is make sure that the studio apartment is ready. All services are up and running. So when parents and young adults move in, everything is ready and available, and everything is operational. Outside of this, there will be this cost does not include the GST, which will be on the building area, the registration charges of the land, which will be registered directly in your name, a small corpus towards services, legal charges, electricity, house tax, water, whatever is the actual charges, they will be charged, because these are all government taxes and government related bodies. So whatever is the actual cost, that will be charged. If we move to the option 2, this is exactly the same. The cost of the villa cost in the first option is about 68 lakh rupees. Here it's about 79 lakh rupees. The total cost comes to about 1.05 crores. The cost of the 1200 square feet dwelling unit is about 95 lakh rupees, plus all the other charges. Exactly the same model. Now these are the trust corpus is for one child. Suppose a parent has 2 children. What will change is the trust corpus, because they will be occupying 2 studio apartments. So suppose there are 2 children who will be occupying 2 studio apartments, the trust corpus will multiply accordingly. We'll take you through the recurring monthly cost. What we've done is estimated based on our experience. Like we mentioned, Vedanta has been operating communities for the last 7-8 years, and prior to that, our experience in operating various senior living communities. We've estimated cost based on cost structures today. This will be all on actual cost that we will be billing. So the 65,000 rupees that we are anticipating as cost for one adult to be in the community will include the housekeeping and the maintenance of the studio apartment, the electricity, water of the studio apartment, skill center, and all the other common areas. So all common area costs get built in. The operating cost of the skill center. Any taxes for the studio and the skill center block, which are the government taxes in terms of property tax, so on and so forth, that will have to be paid every year. As part of a larger community, we will for each land area pay some common area maintenance to landmark STR, because we will have access not only to the clubhouse but all the other amenities that are going to be there in landmark STR, as well as we'll have some shared areas such as sewage treatment plant. The water supply will come together from there. So those are things that we will pay for. Then this includes the cost towards common caregivers. So the common caregiver salary, the food and accommodation, as well as all the other support staff. So this will include the cost of the kitchen staff, the housekeeping staff, the service staff, resident manager, security. All the staff cost is included. This includes the cost of food for the special adult, the housekeeping and maintenance of the parents' villa, and a service fee for Vedanta. So now all of this cost is going to be shared, because this will be going through the trust. This will be shared transparently with all parents. Everybody will be aware of the actual cost that is being spent, and this will get adjusted and will be paid by the parents towards each of their wards on a regular basis. What will be available also outside of this cost at an additional cost for the parent would be food for the parents and any individual caregivers required for special adults and parents. So as parents are growing old, if there is a need for an individual caregiver in the parent villa also, that can be provided, but that will be at an additional cost. Outside of this cost, there will be actual electricity consumption that will be on a separate meter billing, which will be done for both the studio apartment and the villa. Any ownership cost related to the villa, which includes any property tax, khata charges, anything, so on and so forth, and anything that is not mentioned here. What we've tried to do is look at all costs that we could for the staying of the adult. All costs have been by and large baked in here. So what we have not specifically specified is not added to this cost, just to be very clear. And like I said, all these costs are going to be on actual basis and will be transparently shared with the parents. We'll move to the next. Quickly, as we come to the end of our presentation, we are live for booking today. There is a process that has been put in place. There is a form that the parent needs to fill in, giving the details of the adult and the parent. Post which there is a one-on-one meeting that are scheduled with the Together Foundation as well as with Vedanta Senior Living, followed by a medical committee meeting, followed by, after the process of, after the approval of the medical committee, parents are invited to make the booking. We have already started the process and have met a large number of parents in the last few weeks. Anybody interested would need to come in to fill up the form, which is the booking form, and we can share the form on the Google chat itself, so that if you don't have access to the form, that form can be given to you right now. We are happy to answer questions after this. Before we move to answering questions, we'd like to take you through a short walkthrough of how the community will look and operate. We've made a walkthrough video, so we'd like to take you all through this and then get to answering any specific questions you may have.
Is it visible to all?
Yes, it's just paused.
Welcome to the Together community for people with autism, their friends and families at Bangalore. We are Lakshmi and Jayanti. We have autism and this is our beautiful home where we are going to live with many people with autism, our parents, caregivers and friends. These are our studio apartments. We are so excited because this is our first home where we are going to learn to live independently and with lots of help. This is where all the women will stay. The lift here goes up to the men's block where all the men will live. This is our lovely common area where we can come out of our studio apartments, sit with everyone, play games or just spend time together. This is the workstation for our group caregivers. This is our pantry where we can make a cup of tea or soup for ourselves when we feel like having a bite to eat. Every one of us will have a studio apartment of his or her own. Come inside and look. This is my bed, my wardrobe, study table and chair. I can put up lots of pictures and the things I need to help me plan my day. This is a bed for my caregiver, her wardrobe. We have our own bathroom. If I want, I can have a TV and an AC. I have a beautiful balcony in my studio apartment. It has safety grills from where I can look out and get lots of fresh air. I can also dry my own clothes here. Come, let us take you where all of us will eat, our big cafeteria. All of us friends, parents and staff will meet here and have our meals together. This is where we are going to work, our vocational training area where we will do many things, work together and learn together. We will meet in our open air community hall every weekend for parties, for get-togethers and for simple gatherings. We also have lots of sheltered space in the community hall where we can meet when it rains. Our parents will live separately in their own villas. We will go and meet them and spend time with them. We have a beautiful garden, lots of trees and lots of flowers around us where we can play, work out in the open gym, do lots of walking and enjoy the greenery. We have a walking sensory path too. This is our very own temple, a meeting place for all the people from both the Together community and people from the nearby communities. All of us can celebrate festivals and meet at the temple regularly. On both sides of the Together community, we have two neighbors. We have Vedanta Senior Citizen Community right next door, and on the other side we have a very big landmark STR community. This is where we can go for long walks, use the swimming pool, restaurant and clubhouse. This will be our new home when it gets ready in 2025. Come and meet us, our friends with autism and special needs, our parents and the wonderful people who are going to help us live here happily and independently. Thank you, Rahul, for taking us through such a nice and wonderful walkthrough and for giving us a glimpse of the future and the life that we can hope and aspire for and plan for our children and for ourselves. Because as parents of people with special needs, our futures are inextricably intertwined with our children. And over a period of time as parents, we ourselves feel that there is no separating us. So there is a large part of us which is not ready to let go of them. There is a large part of us which is anxious, which is full of fears for the unknown. And seeing something like this, seeing the structure in place, seeing the people in place gives us a lot of reassurance. And we are happy to have made this presentation to you. We are happy to have shown the efforts we have made to create a secure world for the present and for the future, for both us as parents and for our children, our adults with special needs. And I would like to now invite all of you to ask your questions. There are many which have come in the chat box. So Shreya, since you're going to be moderating the entire question answer session, you will have to guide us and see whether you want to read out from the questions which have already come in the chat, or would you want parents to put their hands up and ask for questions? But we are open to answering your questions, and let's make the most of the time that we have left with us. And before you start the questions, one more thing I'd like to mention is, as much as time permits now, we will take as many questions as possible. But I'm sorry, as Rahul says, there is a application form link that has been posted in the chat box. All of you have our numbers. All you need to do is to send us a WhatsApp and tell us, send me the application form. The moment you submit the application form, you will be invited for a one-on-one meeting with Together Foundation and with Vedanta, in which you can individually ask the questions which have not been addressed here. So don't worry about questions that don't get addressed here. You can always follow up by submitting your form and having a meeting with us. So let's start, Shreya.
I will start reading out some questions which have come here, and then we will answer. The participants can raise the hands. So Mr. Aditya has asked, is the 7-acre project exclusively for the special adults?
Yeah, this 7 acres is a part of it. 4.2 acres is for the special adults and the parent. And the rest of the 3 acres is the senior living, Vedanta senior living. So like what Rahul has explained, that we're going to have 38 villas in the special living community, which is the Together community, and 47 studio apartment. And whatever we have shown, whether it's the park, whether it's the skill center going to be part of that. There is a separate community, which is going to be the senior living community, where they also are going to have 39 villas. They will have the separate community center. They will have the separate cafeteria. So no facilities or no amenities are shared basis. So there are exclusive basis. Trust this answers the question adequately. Next.
What are the vocations that have been planned at the vocational center? And will there be cameras in the room for the special adults?
So vocational training, when it comes to the vocational training of our adults, there are 2 things. One is to teach work skills, to teach meaningful skills, which will promote learning, which will promote growth, and something which is going to contribute to their overall learning process. Second is to also make sure that the vocational training areas are connected with the rest of society. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing vocational training? Because we want to make something which creates a bridge with the rest of society. So tomorrow, if I decide to make paper bags, I have to make sure that there is somebody to buy my paper bags. It will be insulting to my adults to make them work hard and make lots of paper bags and store them in a godown. I'm not going to do that. So we are going to intensively research the community around us. So as CP said, there is a Vishwesvaraya Institute of Science, which has some 2,000 students. There is a Satya Sai Baba hospital, right? We are close in some amount of closeness to Chikkabalapur district. So all these are business opportunities. We also have the extended landmark STR, where there are going to be several villas that are going to be occupied. Right next door, we have Vedanta, who will have their own senior citizens. So we will have to use our creativity and come up with it. So if you ask me now, Sangeeta, can you guarantee what are the areas you're going to teach? Yes, I can guarantee. But whether it will be productive for our adults, whether it will be fair to them, I would say no. I would say it will be fair to them only when we actually live there and we start connecting with the community around us, because that's what we want. One of the things that is definitely going to be done is data entry for financial institutions. That can be done and will be done. Art and craft, preparing handicraft items can be done, will be done. Whether we can run a bakery at Mumbai, we run a beautiful bakery. Whether we can run a bakery successfully in that community at Bangalore remains to be seen. We will have to explore and evaluate. But there will be at least 4 or 5 areas of training where our adults will learn and grow. That we can definitely guarantee. As far as the cameras go, it's a very essential part of securing and creating security for our adults. All the common areas of the campus, whether it be the cafeteria, whether it be the vocational training center, all the common areas will be CCTV monitored. The studio apartments of the special adults will be CCTV monitored. The CCTV in the studio apartment will be linked to the mobile phone of the parent, so that the parent can reassure himself or herself about what the adult is doing, whether they've gone to bed, whether they're all right. I'm sure we will need that, so that is going to be done. And the entire campus is going to be geared towards providing safety and security. It is going to go much beyond a CCTV. CCTV is one part of it. But what about our hearts and minds? What about our commitment? What about the way we treat each other? What about the way we look at each other? What about the patience and tolerance we show each other? So the whole atmosphere of the campus is going to be one of acceptance, is going to be one of tolerance for each other. That is also going to go towards security and safety. Safety is not only CCTV, there's going to be much more than that.
Thank you. Just requesting, before I go to the next question, please raise your hands so that we give, instead of writing in the chat box, because we give preference to everybody in that case. The next question, please specify the cost factors for the studio villa, which is already done. We've answered it in our presentation. Kindly specify the medical backup facilities, considering the location is far from the city.
So I will speak, and I will also request the doctors to add into what I'm going to say. We have primary health centers going to be there at the community, which will have an ICU trained nurse on call, who will be able to provide primary first aid assistance. There's going to be a doctor not in the premises but on call for our medical needs. We have our own medical committee of senior medical professionals who are going to be available for us. But just as at home, this is also going to be a larger home. When we have medical needs beyond the basic, we will have to take the help of nearby hospitals and emergency care. Dr. Pramod, would you like to add, sir?
Yes, so I would like to reiterate that there could be various kinds of medical issues that may crop up to the adults with autism, also for their parents. And all aspects of medical care may not be possible in the community because we'll only have a trained nurse and a physician on call who can't go beyond the basic aspects of healthcare. So for all other issues, we will be seeking help from nearby hospitals as and when there are so many health facilities coming up in that area. So once they are established, we will identify those and try to involve them and be the first responders if there's any issues that any medical issue in the community. But I think that plan is only shaping up, and more details will be ready when these facilities are identified. Some of them are upcoming facilities which should be ready in the next few years. But that is an area where within a short distance, we will have large healthcare facilities. But we will seek help like how we would do if we were at home. When we have a medical issue, we'll seek out the respective healthcare. So I think that from the community side, we can have a list of these facilities and help in transport and contacting these facilities. That will be the way we can help.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you. So the next question is, can one resell or rent the villa or studio apartments to another special adult family? And is there any bank loan associated with the project for this purpose?
One is, I think the concept or the entire thing is this is something where we want parents to come and live and be part of this community and help us to govern this, to manage this. So I think we are only looking at serious-minded parents who are going to come when the project goes live or within a short period of time. So there is no option where we have thought about of renting a villa. That's not an option we have at this time considering. The second part of what is the second part, Shreya?
Is there any bank loan associated with the project?
Yeah, the bank definitely. This is something which is Punjab National Bank approved project and the entire landmark area. Definitely, there is an option of bank loan available for the villa. But of course, for the studio apartment, which is going to be the corpus for the trust, the parents need to make arrangement for that because that will not be a cost which banks may approve. That's the short answer. And as you said, if you have parents of any specific question, they can fill up the application form. They can have one-on-one meeting. We will schedule a one-on-one meeting. So from a group perspective, in front of larger forum, this is the short answer I can give you.
Okay. So the next question is, can I buy the unit now and move in later?
I think I've answered that question. This is not an investment opportunity we are trying to create. This is the very immediate thing where parents who are seriously minded to moving in with a certain amount of certainty of period. That's what we are looking at. We are not looking at a parent with having a child with the age of special adult of 8 or 10 years and he has 10 years more to move. Those, I think, this community may not be the right choice they should make.
Is there a washing machine for laundry facility inside the building?
Yes, there's washing machine for laundry. It will be on every floor. Right now, the planning is that it will be on every floor. Every floor has 12 studio apartments. So every floor will have its own, where you saw the pantry in the video, there will be a washing machine where the adults will take turns and learn to operate the machine. Obviously, there's all going to be a part of their learning experience. They're going to learn to take ownership for their daily tasks. That is the beauty of learning to live independently and not having everything done for you by magic. They will realize over a period of time that there is no magic and they'll be a part of the washing and the drying in their respective rooms. So, yes.
The next question I request Mr. Kalyan Rao, who is raised his hand.
It was shown in the cost that common caregiver cost it is showing. If my kid is required individual caregiver, so what would be the approximate for other?
Sir, are you talking about the cost of the individual caregiver?
Yes, please.
The cost of the individual caregiver, Shreya, please correct me if I'm wrong. At present, if you look in the scenario around us across urban cities, the caregiver salary ranges between 20 to 25,000 a month. Am I right, Shreya?
For a full-time caregiver.
A full-time. Obviously, we're talking about the moment somebody requires one-on-one caregiving, then we are looking at a dedicated caregiver who's going to live with the adult inside the apartment. For example, my daughters cannot manage on their own. They will need an individual caregiver. So the caregiver will stay inside the apartment with them. So obviously that person is going to be on call 24 hours, will sleep in that room, will go for meals along with them, right? So such a caregiver, the salary will range between 20 to 25,000 a month. At present, this is a kind of payment scale that we are seeing around us. It will all be charged at cost.
Again, this will also depend upon the medical requirement of the special adult. So if you require a medically trained nursing staff, also if it is a male or a female staff, depending on all these criteria on a case-to-case basis, the cost will vary. However, this will be charged at cost only. So depending.
Okay, ma'am, one more thing. This 25, whatever you said, this is other than 65. Plus this 24 is for 24 hours.
Yes.
Caregiver.
This is other than the 65,000 and it is for 24 hours.
Okay. And one more thing, my kid is semi-skilled, not skilled for vocational training. Suppose he stays in the room only more time. He may not come out, all these things. Is it suitable this?
So we will have to discuss this in detail in a one-on-one meeting. I am not, see, we are accepting of our children with disabilities. All of them are not trained and skilled to do everything. I myself, I have 2 daughters with autism. One of them is very active and very hardworking. The other one spends 75% of her time smiling and 25% of her time she contributes to work. But she is also a part of this universe. She is also a part of the training center. It is not as if she is going to be rejected because she did not contribute. But end of the day is we don't want our adults to be not occupied at all. So if there is a boy who does not come out of his room, first thing primary, we'll have to have a meeting with the medical committee. We'll have to understand what are his requirements. And we will have to see in what way we can keep him engaged. Maybe he can be engaged in other tasks and not in vocational training. So I suggest that you fill the application form, have a one-on-one meeting, and then take it forward for such specific queries.
Okay. My last question, are you be part of this community? Your daughters and you?
Yes, sir. My daughters and I right now, we are based in Mumbai where we are running the foundation. The Together community is going to come live. The project is going to be ready for occupation in early 2025. And my daughters and I will be moving into the community immediately.
Okay, thank you. So remaining one-to-one, I'll discuss. Okay,
yes,
thank you.
Can I talk now, please? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Madam, there are 2 questions I have. One is, hello? I have 2 questions. One is that suppose we are moving to this community and during a period of time, suppose some bad luck happens, the special child passes away, what will happen to the parents?
CP, would you like to take the question?
So that unfortunate event should not be happening, but if it happens, what we have is there are options that first option is that the parents need to overcome that thing. And second thing is we will help them to, while they can continue in that same community, but there will be a lot of overheads, a lot of monthly expenses which the parents need to bear because the actual expenses need to be borne by all the parents. So what one of the option is, since we have tie-up with the Vedanta senior living, the senior living community also going to be next thing, they can sell this villa to another parent of a special living so that there is an opportunity for another special adult coming into this community. And this parent can move to the senior living, which is going to be next door, or in some other community. They may not like to be in Bangalore because of the trauma they would have seen. They want to go to some other place. We will help them to get into some other senior living where Vedanta is running. That's the short answer for me.
Okay. The second question is that, see, I have a daughter who is a normal child. Son is a Down syndrome child. So you are always talking about autism. It is only restricted to autism, or it is Down syndrome child also can come there?
No, sir. It is not restricted to autism. It is also open to adults with other disabilities. However, all admission processes are routed through our medical committee. And why is that? Why are we talking about autism? Because Together Foundation works primarily for people with autism. But if you come to the center that we run in Mumbai, we have several people with Down syndrome. We have people with a global developmental delay. We have people with cerebral palsy. But when you look at residential living, then we have to ensure that we do justice to the requirements of the adult. So every adult who comes for admission, irrespective of autism or otherwise, the parents, once they fill the application form, they have a one-on-one meeting with us, and they also have a one-on-one meeting with the medical committee, which then tries their best to understand the specific requirements of the adult and is able to guide us and tell us that, yes, the Together community can look after this individual. That is the only condition, the only stipulation is that we should be able to look after that individual. If that is the case, then admission will be given.
Okay, my another problem is that I have a situation that I cannot move out of Chennai. I am from Chennai. I am planning to come over to Bengaluru after hearing this. But if I have to, I am in a situation I cannot able to come over there to meet with you for the next 2 months. So what can you do to help me out? Because my daughter is carrying, anytime she will deliver a child. That is the situation.
So you can have an online meeting with Vedanta and with us. I think Rahul will be able to help answer this question about how to progress with the entire application process, even when you're not able to come physically to Bangalore. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yes.
As far as the meetings are concerned, they can be done online. And what about site visit and things like that, Rahul?
That we can arrange. What we will do, sir, in interest of time, we will, if you can fill up the form, we will reach out to you and schedule the...
Sir, one form I filled up and sent. This is the form you are referring to. I filled up and sent. I get an acknowledgement, but I never got a feedback afterwards. One form I filled up and sent.
That must be the Google form, sir.
Yes, exactly.
You're talking about the primary Google form. Shreya, can you please put the application form link on the chat?
It's already put.
And also please share my number, Shreya. For parents who wish to contact me directly, please put my number. Thank you.
Can you? The WhatsApp message is coming. Can you put in that, please? There is a WhatsApp only, which is the link and everything is coming.
Yes.
That is the one you are referring to, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. So there are next few questions. So we have Mr. Rajesh was asked, can we visit the place? As we have already answered it, there is a site visit facility available. You can reach out to either Vedanta Senior Living or the Together Foundation. The contact details were shared in this presentation. It's also available in the brochure, and we can organize one visit for you. The next question, can the parents...
Shreya, one small thing. I think before that, they need to fill up an application form and then have a meeting with both Together and Vedanta, then make a site visit. So that's the sequence interested parents need to follow. So we know actually then we can arrange properly. So everything can be routed through our customer relationship management team of Vedanta. So please fill in your first an application form if you are interested for a site visit.
Yes. Okay.
And question?
Can parents visit the studio apartments of special adults? And the parents community and the senior living community, are the two different communities or the same? I think we have answered this as well, but do you want to add any point to this?
Parents can visit the studio apartments. That is how the whole model is. No, we want that sharing between parents and the children. So parents must visit the studio apartments. The special adults must visit the villa. But we should not confuse our children and change our minds tomorrow and say, "Both ho gaya, you're coming too often now. Now, chalo, you start coming once a week." That's not fair. We should have a good structure in place that helps them to experience independence and value it and know that, yes, this day of the week I go over to my mother's house. This day of the week my mother comes. Or every day my mother comes between 4 to 5 to the studio apartments and meets me. So between us parents, once we join the community, we will come to an agreement about how do we handle this whole visiting in such a way that our adults are able to grow and learn. We are doing this so that they become independent. We are not doing this so that they start living with us in the villa all over again, because that will become counterproductive.
I have a question. Yes?
Mr. Satvik, sorry. Yeah. Mr. Satvik has mentioned that the cost he wants to, the 65,000 per month, he wants to understand the reason for the cost. As we discussed in the presentation, Mr. Satvik, I request you to kindly go through the brochure. Mr. Rahul also had given a detailed explanation and the breakup for the cost. Additionally, we would also like to add that the monthly costs are on a sharing basis. The overall cost, the actuals, will be divided among all the residents, and there will be transparent books of accounts presented to all the parents once they move in. So the cost is actually on the actuals. So estimates, right now we have presented a cost, which is an estimate of what we think would be required for all the facilities that we mentioned during our presentation. Moving on to the next, does food for the special adults include non-vegetarian options?
No, sir. The food for special adults does not include non-vegetarian options. The cafeteria will serve only vegetarian food. Now, I want to take 1 minute of your time because this is a concern area for many parents. This is a concern area even for parents who have vegetarian food. Let me tell you, all of us are worried that, oh my God, my children have to eat the food in the cafeteria. He will not get food that I make anymore. I make chole in this manner. I make aloo in that manner. He prefers eating like this. She prefers eating like that. Okay, this is all our anxiety. Many parents have asked me, can I call my child to the villa and can I feed him non-vegetarian food? Right? So this is not some kind of a police kingdom where CP or I or anybody else in the community is going to carry a torch and wander around and see who is doing what. This is all self-governance. So let me put it to you this way. I have a daughter with severe oral motor issues and with autism. Whatever she eats has to be mashed and given to her. She loves the food which is made by me. So if I decide to call Jayanti over to the villa and I give her meals every day, do you think she will eat the food in the cafeteria? Number one. Number two, tomorrow if I start worrying, oh my God, Jayanti has started eating over here. How will she adjust to the cafeteria? Who is going to solve my problem? Who is going to cure Jayanti for me and make her start eating food in the cafeteria? Definitely the Together community cannot do it. Together community does not have a magic wand or some special curative powers that parents don't have and cure our children for us and make them start eating in the cafeteria. So what is the solution to non-veg food? According to me, this is a very interesting discussion which I had with another parent. So one of the things that I said was, all of us as parents who are going to join the Together community, at least 6 to 8 months in advance, we should start preparing our adults for living in the community. So how do we prepare our adults for living in the community? We show them videos, we show them pictures, we bring them to the community and show them that place, number one. Number two, we get the menu, the curated menu which is going to be made by a nutritionist at the Together community will be shared with the parents much in advance. I personally am going to change the menu that is served in my home several months in advance, so that when my child comes and starts eating in the cafeteria, she'll say, "Arey, ye to mujhe Bombay mein milta hai. Oh, this is the same bhaji which Amma makes for me." So her acceptance of the food. So we all are going to help each other. Please do not think that one fine day you will come to the community and everything will be changed at one go. It is not going to happen. It is not fair to our adults. It has to be a gradual process which will start 8 to 9 months in advance before coming to the community. All of us are going to start planning and preparing. Now, as far as non-veg is concerned, one of the good ideas to do is to have a structure with your son or daughter and say, every Saturday, come home, we'll all have a non-veg meal together. So what happens? Why am I saying this? After the lifetime of parents, number one, or let's say the parents travel, they go on a holiday, but they have not taken their son with them for whatever reason. The son is behind in the community. What will happen? Who will give him his non-veg meal? If you have got him used to coming there at any time and eating, will he not find it difficult? Whereas, if you have got him used to once a week, you come home and Amma will make non-veg for you, then we will ensure that some caregiver in the community takes him for a non-veg meal. It will be done. But can a caregiver in the community take him for a non-veg meal every day or at any time? Is it realistic? No. Because end of the day, we parents are going to manage the community. If you and I can do it, let's go ahead and do it. But we can't. So we will have to help our children adjust to a new way of living in which they get a little bit of what they want and a little bit of what is available. I hope I have answered your question sufficiently. Sorry for taking up so much of your time, but this is an anxiety that many parents are experiencing.
Can I get a minute?
Yes, sir.
My name is Rajkumar. I am speaking from Chennai. I have three things to put forward for the benefit of everybody. See, first is that, like Mr. SJ was or somebody else was pointing out, what happens to the villa property when the parents pass away? See, the trick is that now the autistic or the physically challenged child or adult, physically challenged adult is left behind, and the parents passed away, but the property is available for somebody to occupy. And then a practical thing, what I have to think, or you have to think, or everybody has to think is that who will pay that 65,000 or equivalent after the parents pass away? Because till the time the parents is there, they will beg, borrow, steal, and pay for the child. After the parents pass away, who will make this payment is one question. I'm not trying to corner you or something. Please excuse me if you think that I'm trying to. I also have an autistic son. So this is the angle to be thought of. So in view of this, what is my suggestion is, it should be a rental model instead of an ownership proprietary model. A corpus should be created and the corpus should hold the property and the property should be available for rent. So that at least by whichever means the parents can cough up, they can pay the money instead of paying an upfront money. That is number one. My number two suggestion is, the property should have a commercial portion. Commercial portion of the this one should be available for rent to outsiders, like a commercial shop, venue or marriage hall or something, where the access will be from outside. The inside people cannot have the access to that. Like you say, you are generating revenue from the paper cups and all these things. You can generate revenue from the renting out of the other property also, which will reduce the people to, reduce the burden of that 65,000 rupees. This is my viewpoint. If I am wrong, please denounce me, but I am speaking from all the possible aspects of the life and the petrol called money.
Thank you for your suggestion. We take note of it. But the point is, when the parents make an application, and one of the question is, there is a need for the parent to create a private benefit trust for the special adults, and they need to create a corpus where not only in the monthly expenses of today or for future also is taken care of. So parents who are economically able to do that is the parents who need to seriously consider this project, because there is a certain cost element which is estimated, which is required to be shared by all the parents. Regarding the parent passing away and what happened to the villa, there are two options. One, if the parent has created enough corpus, which is generating income, which will help to maintain the special adult, then the legal guardian, natural guardian passes away, there has to be a legal guardian appointed. The legal guardian will come and stay in the villa. Once even the legal guardian passes away, the villa will have to be sold, and the proceeds of the villa will go to the private benefit trust, which can become a part of a corpus, which can help to maintain the monthly expenses of the special adult. So other suggestions what you made, we take note of it, and we are also cognizant of the fact that this community is located some 35 kilometers away from the international airport, is not in the prime locality. We will have to see the viability. And also there is a commercial for building those. Who is going to fund those is something where a lot of serious consideration has to be taken. At this point of time, I don't want to belabor the time for many other parents. I take note of it. And if you're seriously interested in this project, I would request you to fill an application form. Then we can discuss more detail on one-on-one meetings so that we save time of other parents.
That's correct. But my point was that I am living in Chennai, like the other gentleman, SJ. Now, at this point in time, it will be very, very difficult for me to think about moving to another place like Bengaluru or something like that. Bengaluru is just familiar to me because I was in the Air Force. I stayed in Bangalore for 4 or 5 years. I know the place very well. But the problem is now I have established myself here like the other person and many other parents of special children as well. So what I would also suggest is that that's what I said in the beginning. If you can consider a similar project in somewhere around Chennai or some other place near to Chennai, if you go a little about 40-50 kilometers, 100 kilometers away from Chennai, a lot of cheap land is available. Like Bangalore, the problem is not that costly land. Land is very, very cheap. Like you go towards Kanjipuram, which is a religious place. We have so many temples and good facilities around there. Land is available for a very, very cheap cost and it's very accessible to all other places. You can consider that also.
Yeah, sure. Once we complete this project, we'll definitely take it up. I think well, we have just started this project. I think to do justice to this project, we would like to complete this. And then I probably in other cities, we want to model this to many other cities. Depending on the responses we are getting from other parents and other cities, it will be our endeavor to help the other parents also set up such community. At least for the moment, our single-minded concentration is on the Together community at Bangalore.
Right, sir. Any help?
Hello, sir. This is Sunil here from Bangalore.
Vedanta.
Actually, I just wanted to know. Actually, my son is 11-year-old, and sorry for that. Actually, I cannot fit in your requirement. But do you have any plan for young children in Bangalore or something like that?
So as of now, no. This is a small community. We have provision for 35 parents to move into the community. So from the point of view of sustenance of the model, of having a group of parents, to younger parents also who will take over from the older parents as time passes on, there will be a small number of these villas which will be given to parents of younger children. But not of parents who want to move, let's say, after 10 or 12 or 15 years. So we are looking largely at parents who are ready to move into the community in 2025. A large number of parents. Out of 35, I would say at least we are looking at 28 to 29 who will move into the community. And why is that? Because we want our adults to have a thriving community to live in. None of us want to come to a place where our children are going to live with only 2 and 3 people. We want to see lots of people. We want to see lots of life. We want to feel happy that, yes, my children have come to a place which is alive and which is filled with people and with action. And there will be a small part which will be reserved for parents, younger parents, with, let's say, 14-year-old, 12-year-old, and who will move in after 2 or 3 years max. But definitely not after 10 years because it's a small community.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Shreya, any other questions or we can wind up? Shreya?
I think there are questions in the chat box. So somebody has said, will it be possible to share details and application form on my mail? That will be done. We will share it with you. What is the water source and is it sustainable over the next 50 years? Rahul, can you take that, please?
You're on mute.
Rahul, you're on mute.
There is a good amount of groundwater at the location. It is in an area which has a lot of groundwater. However, if you ask me, we will at this point of time look at sourcing through the bore wells, and the water will be supplied. But over a period of years, like any other part of Bangalore, if you stay in Bangalore, there is no corporation water. So that is very clear. It will be borewell water. Any deficiency of borewell water will be substituted through tanker water.
Mr. Anil Gupta has raised his hand for a question. Sir, do you have a question?
Okay, are you listening me?
Yes,
I am from Bhopal and speaking in Hindi area.
हाँ बोलिए।
Is it possible for you to talk in Hindi?
हाँ हाँ बोलिए।
मैम, मेरा एक क्वेश्चन ये है कि मेरा बेटा ऑटिस्टिक है और हम लोग मेरा सिंगल चाइल्ड है और न्यूक्लियर फैमिली है। तो मेरा एक क्वेश्चन है कि क्या 65,000 जैसा आपने इनिशियली बताया कि मंथली हमें देना है और वो एक्सक्लरेट होगा, तो क्या ये एक पॉसिबिलिटी है कि हम एक फिक्स अमाउंट डिपॉजिट कर दें, क्योंकि हमारे बाद कौन क्या देखेगा? क्या इस तरीके का कोई आपने असेसमेंट किया है कि इतना हम टोटल आपके यहाँ जमा करा दें, फिर उसके बाद हमें लुक आफ्टर लीगल पेरेंट्स कौन होते हैं, क्या करते हैं, वो लुक आफ्टर करते हैं या नहीं करते? तो क्या इस तरीके की कोई पॉसिबिलिटी है?
नहीं, मैंने पहले भी आंसर किया था कि पेरेंट्स को एक प्राइवेट ट्रस्ट क्रिएट करना पड़ेगा जिसमें कॉर्पस डालना पड़ेगा। हम आपको मदद करेंगे कि क्या अमाउंट डालेंगे तो ये 65,000 आज के दिन में होगा। और लेकिन ये जो प्राइवेट ट्रस्ट है वो आप जो भी है वो ही चलाएंगे। उसका जो इनकम होगा, इनकम जो आएगा वो कम्युनिटी टुगेदर कम्युनिटी को देना पड़ेगा। टुगेदर कम्युनिटी आपसे पैसा लेके उसका ये नहीं कर, वो मॉडल नहीं है, ऐसा करेंगे भी नहीं है, क्योंकि अपने अपने पैसे के लिए अपने अपने पेरेंट्स अपने प्राइवेट ट्रस्ट क्रिएट करना है, उसमें कॉर्पस डालना है, उसका एविडेंस देना है कि हमारे पास मंथली एक्सपेंसेस मीट करने की क्षमता है, वो हमें दिखाना पड़ेगा। कि क्योंकि नहीं तो थोड़े दिन डालने के बाद मुश्किल हो जाएगा कि ये पैसा देना नहीं होगा, तो ये बाकी पूरा ये जो प्रभाव बाकी पेरेंट्स के ऊपर होगा वो हम नहीं चाहते।
सर, न्यूक्लियर फैमिली और सिंगल पेरेंट की प्रॉब्लम तो यही रहेगी ना कि उनके बाद लीगल हम गार्जियनशिप जिसको देते हैं वो कितना लुक आफ्टर कर पाता है बच्चे को। तो क्या कॉर्पस जो है वो मैं ट्रस्ट को हैंड ओवर कर दूं, क्या ट्रस्ट उसकी लीगल गार्जियनशिप लेगा?
तो अभी जो है आप मेनी फैमिलीज के पास यही प्रॉब्लम होती है। पहले आप एक प्राइवेट ट्रस्ट क्रिएट कीजिए। कॉर्पोरेट ट्रस्टी है, कॉर्पोरेट ट्रस्टी जो है वो आप कॉर्पोरेट ट्रस्टी को बना सकते हैं, उसमें वो एग्जीक्यूट करेंगे, वो फीस लेंगे बट करेंगे। थोड़े दिन बाद जब एक टुगेदर कम्युनिटी सेटल हो जाएगी, सब पेरेंट्स साथ में आ जाएंगे, उसके बाद आप जो सुझाव दे रहे हैं वो प्रस्ताव हम रखेंगे और ये जो जिम्मेदारी है बाकी पेरेंट्स लेने को तैयार है तो हम जरूर करेंगे।
ओके, थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू वेरी मच।
सर अगर आप ये फाइनेंशियल, इसकी जो फाइनेंशियल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है, अगर आपको लगता है कि आप ये उठा सकते हैं तो ये पूरा ये जो प्राइवेट ट्रस्ट वाला क्वेश्चन है ये आप एक 1-on-1 मीटिंग में ले लीजिए हमारे साथ।
हम आपको गाइड कर सकते हैं,
आपको गाइडेंस मिलेगा वेदांता टीम से, टुगेदर टीम से आपको गाइडेंस मिलेगा। आप एप्लीकेशन फॉर्म को सबमिट कीजिए। जैसे ही आपने एप्लीकेशन फॉर्म सबमिट किया आपको वेदांता से फोन आएगा और हमारे साथ आपका एक अलग मीटिंग रहेगा जिसमें ये पूरा जो भी आप पूछ रहे हैं सबका हम आपको सुझाव देंगे। तो वी कैन फाइंड अ सॉल्यूशन टुगेदर।
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Shreya, can you share the
Yes.
application form once again, please?
Yes.
And Vinita, if you can put my contact number also.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Yes. I don't think we have any more chats which are unanswered. No hands also.
Okay, great.
Anything?
Nothing else for now, right?
Yeah.
Nothing else for now, right, Shreya?
Nothing else. Not received any additional chats.
Yeah. So at least first, can we close this meeting now, Shreya?
Yeah.
Yes. For any further
So
clarification.
Yeah. Please continue, Shreya.
No, I was just about to say, for any clarifications which you have in detail, you can go through the brochure or the application form which is given here. You can fill it up and arrange for a meeting. You can also directly contact Vedanta or the Together Foundation in the respective phone numbers. We can guide you on receiving the application form. You can either email it to you or WhatsApp it to you, and we can take it forward from here. The phone number of Sangeeta Chakrapani is also in the group, the chat box, so you can directly reach out to her also.
You can WhatsApp me. I'll send you the application form. I'll send you whatever information you want. Yeah. So it's very nice and interesting to meet so many parents. Just, I got a call at 6:30 in the morning, this morning, from an elderly parent who said that, I wanted to come home, Sangeeta, come home and explain the project to me. So I promised him that sometime this week I will come. So I hope that we are able to reach out to the people who need us. And a very big thank you to the doctors first, Dr. Amdekar, Dr. Pramod Krishnan, and Dr. Soumya Hegde for taking out time for us. Thank you to our friends and our, our mentors, Vedanta. Thank you, Vinita. And thank you to all the parents, all the family members, all the well-wishers who have joined this meeting. Please wish us luck as we journey on. We have a big mission ahead of us, and we want to create a successful community for our special adults. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sangeeta.
Thank you.
Thank you.